Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. So, can I still pass the HGV Theory Test? Let's find out. Going to be using the app that I used when I first was revising for my HGV Theory Test way back when I did that just nearly 5 years ago. Now, I have tried doing this a couple of times, and if I do a full test for all 100 questions, then my GoPro does get a little bit hot and shut down. So we're going to go for about 30 questions on this test. But the idea of this video is to give people that are looking to do their HGV theory an idea of how the questions appear, how they're worded, etc. Now, the app that I'm using, as I say, is the one that I used when I was revising. It does state in there when you set it up that some of the questions may be worded slightly differently in your test, because of course they don't have the most up-to-date, accurate wordings from the DVLA, but it does give you an idea of how they're worded. When you do your theory test in your local test centre, you do get 115 minutes to complete the test. There are, as I said, 100 questions and you need to get 85% correct. So 85 out of 100 correct answers. The app that I'm using, as I said, should be on the screen now, and you can do a mock test, but we are going to go straight into practicing all the questions. You can take out specific categories by just selecting whichever ones it is that you want to do. But for this, we're going to select all categories. And as you can see, I have done this a few times just to make sure, as I said, the screen recordings, etc. are working. Now, I am going to read through some of these questions. I'm not going to be reading them word for word, mainly because my reading isn't particularly brilliant. I am dyslexic, but yeah, if I'm reading these questions slightly wrong, don't be surprised. We're going to click Start here. You can, on this app as well, if you want to, do your PCV, your bus theory questions as well, but we're going to leave it as the LGV ones there. We've got 30 questions selected. You can, in this menu here as well, change it so that it's questions you've not previously seen, etc. But we're just going to leave it as it is. For the purpose of revision, you can also alert if the question is incorrect, and you can show a countdown before it shows you the correct answer, but we're just going to leave it as auto move to the next question. So there we go. It's just telling us that the practice is about to start. Make sure you read the questions correctly, and you can get an explanation through the guidance on the app. Let's get straight into question 1 and see how we get on. What's a red route? An area where a special waiting restrictions apply, a where drivers have to pay a toll. Area where special waiting restrictions apply. These are in London. Yeah, typically around airports and hospitals, those type of things. Red double yellow lines. But it's just working out which is the right worded one. Let's go with the top one. Under EU rules, what's the normal weekly rest period that must be taken? 45 hours rest period, typically taken at the weekends. Which symbol on the back of a lorry means they're carrying corrosive substance? Cover this a lot in the ADR side of things, but we know that this from science at school, this bottom right hand one, is the corrosive substance one. That's compressed gas canisters, oxidizing and flammable. What do you need to consider when transporting a high value cargo of cigarettes? All of these options here, it's going to have to be, they'll be at risk of theft or hijacked. Yeah, high value goods, just need to be careful. How can you help to protect the environment? By leaving your engine running in traffic jams. For all of these options here, it's got to be the bottom one, by using bypasses and avoiding town centres. Yep. A tyre has been replaced on your vehicle. What precautions need to be taken when tightening the wheel nuts? So they're done up with an air operated power tool, the air guns, but you would use a torque wrench to evenly tighten them. What's most likely to cause a burst tyre? Could be one of the bottom two. Running with underinflated tyres can cause issues, but let's go with mixing tread depths. Yeah, that's why, especially on our trailers, we've got the low loaders with the double wheels, and if one's needing replacing, normally they replace both. Where do most sleep-related vehicle incidences occur? Let's go with on motorways. Yep. What's the fifth wheel coupling used for? You may only be doing your category C license, but you still need to know these questions as well. Connect the tractor unit, the lorry, to the trailer. Your engine catches fire. What should you do before attempting to put it out? Shut off the fuel supply. When must you take extra care driving a vehicle more than 3 meters high? 10 feet. When driving over narrow bridges, make sure you're reading them correctly. Make sure you're getting the right wording. When driving under overhead cables. That's the right answer there, I'm sure. Which vehicle is most at risk in windy conditions? Saloon car, tractor unit, high-sided lorry, single-decker bus. The taller the object, the more prone to wind conditions, so high-sided lorry. You finish recoupling. What should you make sure that your tractor and trailer are secure? Just finding the right one here. Try to move forward with the trailer brake on. Yep, that's your tug test. That's what that's referring to. What should you do if a car driver makes a mistake that causes you to brake? Yeah. Keep calm, don't retaliate. You're on a wet, level road driving at 50 miles per hour. What's the minimum gap you should leave between your vehicle and the one in front? 4 seconds. You're going to leave more than that most of the time, but yeah, 4 seconds is what you need to be leaving. 2 seconds in the dry. You've just overtaken another vehicle on a motorway. What should you avoid when moving back to the left? Cutting in. You don't want to cut in too soon. You want to make sure you're well clear of that vehicle that you've just been trying to overtake or have overtaken. What should you do when you're working on a vehicle platform? Walk forward near the edges. So when I'm on the trailer, for example, training a machine down, I need to make sure I'm walking everywhere forward. Don't step backwards because you could step off the edge. You're driving a vehicle fitted with anti-lock brakes. What should you do when braking in an emergency? Apply firm, continuous pressure to your brake pedal. Same as if you're in the car. The ABS will do what it needs to do. What does controlling goods vehicle drivers' hours help to improve? Road safety. We have driving restrictions on time, etc. for road safety. What should you do before leaving your vehicle parked on a public road? Going to be switching off the engine from those options there. You're planning to carry high value goods on a regular basis. What advice should you seek? Again, those options, you don't want to be doing the same route, etc. with high value goods wherever possible. You're going to want to speak to, from those options, your local crime prevention officer. This lorry is turning right. You should be able to see this picture quite clearly. I might zoom in a little bit more so that you can see. What should your driver be especially aware of? So there is a motorcyclist just above this person in the picture behind the van that's being unloaded. So motorcyclist from the right passing the parked van. You're driving a large vehicle on a narrow road with passing places. What do you need to be most aware of? Driving a large vehicle, its length, yes, something very important to it with that. Ground clearance, it doesn't say anything from that question about ground clearance. Height, doesn't mention anything about height. I'm going to go with its length. The passing places aren't always going to be big enough for you to fit into. Why should you allow extra room for motorcyclists when they are riding through roadworks? So, yeah, motorcyclists, give them plenty of space. They do swerve around to avoid potholes. What will happen if you drive too close to the vehicle in front? It's not going to be, view will not be increased, which is that one there. Your view ahead will be reduced. Why are motorcyclists advised to wear bright clothing? To help other road users see them. See, some of these questions you get in might not have anything to do with being a HGV driver, as in actually driving the truck. What might misuse of drugs or alcohol lead to? Withdrawal of a driving license. When should your lorry coupling system fifth wheel be checked and lubricated? See, ours are checked as regularly as possible. We don't often drop our trailers. They are dropped and checked as part of our 6 weekly PMI checks. So I'm going to go with regularly, but it could only be every 6 months. So yeah, but we do our 6 weekly checks because we do our daily checks to make sure it's all connected up correctly, but they are checked over every 6 weeks. What could happen if there isn't enough oil in your engine? See, again, another question that's not necessarily about actually driving the truck. It might break down, it will run faster, it may use less fuel, it may produce more power. Not enough oil in it, should be part of your daily check. That's why it's one of those questions that comes up. Many modern vehicles are fitted with additional near side mirror. What does this help the driver to see? The front wheel in relation to the curb. So near side, that's the passenger side, the nearest one to the curb. Curb. It's going to be that one, isn't it? Oh, we've got through all 30 questions. So let's click finish and see how we got on. (29 out of 30). So we can click here to review. Let's just close this. So the one I got wrong was about the burst tyre. Running with underinflated tyres. Yeah, it's one I thought I was going to get wrong, to be honest. It's one of those things. Underinflated could have been that, could quite easily be that as well. Like I say, that's why we change over our tyres. But it looks like every other question onto page 2. You can just click the ones that are incorrect at the top there. So, yeah, hopefully that's giving you an idea of what the theory test questions are like. Hopefully that's giving you an idea how they're worded. Obviously, yeah, 97%, one question wrong. I would have passed that based on 30 questions. As I said at the beginning of the video, you do need to do 100 questions to complete the test, and you need to get 85%, 85 out of those 100 correct. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. Put any questions you have down in the comments below. Why you're down there and why not subscribe. And thank you very much for watching.